Hi guys, this is Trilochan from Silan Software Pvt. In this video, I will show you a simple login form in JSP. So how we will develop a login form and how that login form is processing and we are getting a response. First of all, we will look what exactly our problem task is. Suppose we have a login form. Let we have a login form. So let my file name is login.jsp. Let my file name is login.jsp file. So let here we have two attributes. One is username and there is a text box. Then we have another attribute. Let password and there is a text box. Let we have a command button. So let the value of the button is login. Okay, so we have a login form. So that login form we will get by developing and executing login.jsp file. Here we have two attributes, one is username and one is password, and there is a command button. The value of command button is login. When after here, suppose in text box, after putting my data, when I will click in this button, then one action is generating. So one action means that login form, how it will process, and for that we have to develop a business logic. This login.jsp file representing our presentation logic. Simply we are presenting a login form, that's why this is presentation logic. So when action is generating, we will get a response. Login is successful or sorry, invalid credential. So one response we will get. So how to response, how we will get a response, for that we have to develop another JSP file. That JSP file is my process file, basically we can say, and let my file name is login process.jsp file. Now this file will contain the business logic. This file will contain the business logic. So that's why we can say this file is called as process file. Then in this file, we will write the logic. Suppose my logic is if the password value is admin, ADMIN, then if the password value is admin, then another JSP file will give a response. Let another JSP file is, suppose let it welcome.jsp. Welcome.jsp file will give a response. Login is successful. Login is successful. Login is success. So this response, this response welcome.jsp file will give. So in this way, we have to develop login.jsp file, login process.jsp file, welcome.jsp file. If the password value is not admin, then we will get a response, sorry, invalid credential along with login form. So this is my problem task. So what is my required files? What are the required files that we have to develop? Required files. So first I will develop login.jsp file, then login process.jsp file, then welcome.jsp file, then web.xml file. Okay, so in web.xml file, just we will set our welcome file. So guys, this is my problem task. So now we will go to our Eclipse environment. Now, this is my Eclipse environment and this is my project structure. This is my project structure. You see, so already I have created a project. So very simple, how to create a project: file, new, dynamic web project. Suppose you give some project name, any name, whatever you can give, then click on next button, click on next button, put a tick mark here, it is mandatory. So for generating a web.xml file, then click on finish. So as I have created a project, so here I am canceling. So this is my project structure, and now we will see, first we will develop login.jsp file. So any JSP file we are going to develop, so you see there is a structure. Sorry, in inside my project structure, so there is a folder. The folder name is web app. So there is a folder named as web app. Just you do right click and you see automatically, so new JSP file option is coming to our picture. So now I will click on this. So here file name, so I will give, so my file name is login. Now I will click on finish button. You see, this is my login.jsp file. So here, so it is completely wet, what looking like HTML file, because HTML begin tag, HTML end tag, body begin, body end tag. So it is my presentation logic. Simply, so login.html file, in which way that we had developed in that way, so we can develop login.jsp file. Only difference is here in the presentation logic context, in place of html, simply we have created a .jsp file. So how I will write? So form action, because already in our figure, already my task is in this form, any action is generating. So which file is executing? Login process.jsp file executing. So that login process.jsp file we have to develop. So how we will represent that? Form action equals to login process.jsp. The meaning is, so here in this form, any action will generate, login process.jsp file will execute. So basically we can say this is a process file. So then we can use what? Table tag, table, then tr row, then td we will use. So first attribute name is username, then tdn. So then I will write, so in the text box input type equals to text, let name equals to, so whatever I will write name. So then td end. So this is then I will what, and tr. So tr representing one row. So now this is one row, username, and there is a text box. So simply I will do copy and I will paste here again. So in place of username, I will write password, then input type equals to password, then name equals to, suppose I will write pass. Okay, then this is my second row. Then I will paste here. So then in third row there is a command button only. Okay, so input type equals to submit, let value equals to login. So now third row completed. So I will end the form. I will end the table. So then I will end the form. Okay, so before that, suppose I will put a title here. Let it login form and enter form. Suppose I will put in center. So there is a tag, center tag I will mention. Simply one header h1 just I am specifying. This is optional, so I will write login form and I will end header and I will end center here after form. Control S. So this is my login form. Okay, so here in this way, I developed my login form and we have two attribute username and password and one command button. Now we will develop login process.jsp file because login process.jsp file is our business logic, is our process file that we can say. So now immediately we have to develop login process.jsp file. So in same way we will create another JSP file. Simply right click on web folder, then we will go to new, then JSP file. So I will give the file name login process, then I will click on finish button. Now, so this login process.jsp file is our process file. This file will contain the business logic. This file will process our login form data. So here, if this file is the business logic, so how I will start my business logic? So I have to write within a tag. That tag is called a scriptlet tag. Okay, so scriptlet tag. So this representing it is a JSP application. So whatever we will write the logic, that logic we have to write within a scriptlet tag. Okay, so same way. So in servlet already we have known in which way that form data is processing. So since we have a login form, so we have a login form and two attribute username and password. So first of all, we will process our form data. So how to process our form data? So string s1 equals to a request dot get parameter. So, so no doubt it is a concept of servlet. Get parameter method when it is invoking by a request object. So here a request is an implicit object. Actually, it is coming from HTTP servlet request interface. Okay, so here that interface explicitly we are not specifying, but directly web server can understand because that servlet API by default available in JSP application. So within get parameter method we will write, so we will pass a name. So now in login.js file, what we have written name equals to that I will specify here. So since we have two attribute, so two times get parameter method I have to call. Now I copied, again I will paste here. So now let it s2, then we have written in login.jsp for password value pass we have specified, so I will write pass. So what is the meaning? Now username value, when a user will give, so that value will assign in s1. So get parameter method is a built-in method, is a such method, it is returning a string type of a variable. So definitely, so we will take a string variable. So S1, S2, we have taken a string type of variable. So username value assigning in S1, password value assigning in S2. So our logic is what? If password, the password value is admin. If s2 dot equals method, so I can write what? Admin. So if the value of password is admin, then another JSP file will give the response. That means we will do or we will give a request to another resource. Another resource may be a JSP file, maybe a HTML file, or maybe a servlet. But here we are discussing about JSP file. So I can write response dot send redirect. So within bracket I will write welcome dot JSP file. That means if the value of password is admin, so password value assigning in S2. So that's why I wrote if S2 dot equals admin, then welcome.jsp file will execute. So welcome.jsp file will give a positive response, login is successful or login is success. Else if condition is false, then else part will execute. So as per our discussion, what is else part? So suppose one message, one response message, we will what get, sorry, invalid credential, invalid credential. So this type of message that we will get along with login form. Suppose in else part, so if condition is false, then else part will execute. So what is else part? One response that we are getting, sorry, invalid credential. Again, just I am adding another point. So along with response, login form that will display in our picture. So how? So we have stored it in servlet request dispatcher. A request dispatcher is an interface which is used to dispatch a request to another resource. So first of all, I will get request dispatcher object. So how to get a request dispatcher object? So request dot get request dispatcher. So within the bracket, so I will write login dot JSP file. So So what is the meaning? So get request dispatcher is a built-in method. It is coming from HTTP servlet request interface. So that's why it is invoking by a request object. So when get request dispatcher method invoking by request object, it is returning request dispatcher object, or we can say we are getting request dispatcher object. Let object is array. Now this object, this interface request dispatcher having two method, one is forward method and one is include method. So I will write rd dot include method, and it is taking two argument. This is what mandatory, that is request object and response object. Okay, so now our task is finished. This login process.jsp file. So what it is representing? It is representing if condition will be false. In place of admin, if the user will give any value as password, then else part will execute. So what the else part is representing? So a response we will get, that is sorry, invalid credential, along with a login form. Include method means including an existing resource. Your resource is login.jsp file. Now we will develop welcome.jsp file. Another JSP file we will develop in same way. We will develop, right click on web app, new, we will go to JSP file. So let my file name is welcome. So I will click on finish. So simply this file is what within script let tag. So we will write an output statement out.print login is successful. Login is successful. Login is success. Now this is my file. So in this way, we developed login.jsp file. This is my presentation logic. And this login.jsp file, okay, processing by a process file. And that process file containing the business logic. So that is our login process.jsp file. Then welcome.jsp file is another resource to give a positive response login is success. Now, then we will go to our web.xml file. So very simple things. This is my web.xml file. Simply we will set our welcome file. So here my welcome file is login.jsp file. So now I saved. So in this way, so we developed all these files. Control S for saving. So everything I saved. So now, so my application is ready. So now I will run. So how to run? So server is responsible. So guys, before that, so before going to develop any JSP application, first of all, you have to configure server into your Eclipse environment. So here our server is Apache Tomcat. So now I will run. How to run? Right click on project, run as, run on server. Then select the server name. Next option, select the project name. Now click on finish button. So we'll see. So definitely welcome file that we have set, that is login.jsp file. So we will get, so login form. You see, we will get login form and username. Suppose username I will give Sachin, and suppose I will give password. So we have written the logic if the password value is admin, ADMIN. Now I will click on login button. You see, so I got a positive response. Login is success. So you see, so welcome.jsp file is executing. So now again I will go to back. Simply I will do a refresh button. Suppose username is Akash. Let it. So password, suppose anything, suppose I will give. Now I will click on login button. You see, so message I am getting, sorry, invalid credential along with login form. If I will write again, I will check Akash and password is admin. So now I will click on login button. So then I am getting positive response, login is success. So in this way we got the clarity. So our application successfully executing. So guys, this is a simple login form. And what we did, simply we developed a login.jsp file, that is our presentation logic. Then to process our login form, we developed a process file, that is login process.jsp file. Basically, it is containing business logic. Then we developed welcome.jsp file. This is another resource, only this resource providing a positive response. And in web.xml file, simply we set our what is our welcome file. So we developed in this way. So login.jsp file, login process.jsp file, welcome.jsp file, web.xml file. Then this is my output. Okay, so I hope uh, everybody got clarity. Thank you.